Do you remember the first time you thought about starting a business? You probably felt one or two ways, either excited or terrified. And then one question always pops up in our heads: do I really have what it takes to do this? And then I asked myself that same question, and because of it, I made mistakes that costed me years. But if I had to start all over in 2025, I'd actually do a few things differently. And that's what we're going to break down today. And this topic came from the Kingmaker Circle, which is a free community that I offer entrepreneurs who are growing their businesses. So if you want to be a part of that conversation, comment down below communities or tap the link in the description. So let's talk about it. So let's start off with one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, I had to learn that done is better than perfect. Because coming from a background in photography, I wanted everything to look good, crisp, clean, on point, the whole nine. But I quickly realized that business it don't work that way. Like I believe that perfection, that ideology of perfection came because I had that mentality. But instead of perfection actually pushing me to new heights, it actually kept me stuck because perfection actually leads to paralysis. It actually leads to paralysis. And a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe even you, we stay stuck because we believe that we have to have everything perfect before we start. We have to have everything perfect before we actually launch our offer or the new offer or whatever the case may be. Even entrepreneurs who are making tens of thousands of dollars a month are still dealing with the same thing because I've worked with them. Because here's the key thing that I continuously tell people, and I had to tell myself: progress beats your polished content, your polished everything every single time. It beats it every time. You have to adopt the ideology of done is better than perfect. And that leads me into mistake number two that I made. Once you actually get moving from that place, identity is everything. Identity for me is everything because it's literally the foundation of a successful business, a successful brand, successful anything. Because early on, I thought that being good at a lot of things was going to be the thing that took me far. But here's the thing: it also it also pushed me into a place of thinking that I could serve everybody, and that again was one of my traps. It was one of my snares that kept me stuck for years. Because here's the thing that I tell my entrepreneurs that I coach. I tell them that if you're serving everybody, you're essentially serving nobody. And that's the truth. Because when you're actually clear on who you are and the specific problem that you actually solve for people, that's when the momentum actually builds for you, not before. So being a jack of all trades is cool in a certain area, but it's not going to be the thing that takes you there. What got you here will not take you there. And so adopting this ideal or ideology of, not being a jack of all trades, but actually mastering one thing to get you through the door, that is the thing that I need you to do. Right. So whatever that is, choose one and actually go full steam ahead towards it. Because once you actually walk through the door, it's not saying that all your other gifts are going to stay behind. They're coming with you, but you first have to step in the door. So make sure you stay around for the seventh mistake because that's the biggest one that I literally had to learn, and I believe that it's going to help you grow as an entrepreneur and a business owner as well. So now, once you actually know who you are and you know what problem you actually solve for people, you actually have to have some type of structure. And obviously, that's my next mistake. When I first started my businesses, man, I did not have any structure. I didn't have any structure. And to be honest, structure is literally the thing that keeps you consistent. So whether it's posting on YouTube, posting on social media, actually being creative, or whatever the case may be, your structure is the thing that's going to keep you most consistent. So without consistency, you don't have a brand. Without consistency, you don't have a business. Because if you can't show up consistently for yourself, why do you believe people will show up for you consistently? Right? So structure is very important because when the motivation actually fades, your systems are going to be the very thing that keep you in the game. That very structure that you create is going to be the thing that takes you for the long haul, right? Because it's not a sprint. This is a marathon. You have to be able to run to last. And so we have, for me, I had to create a system around who I was and what problems that I actually solved. Because for me, I noticed that I wasn't consistent when I didn't have a schedule. If things weren't on the calendar, it didn't happen. Right. I have to get systematized for myself so that way I can be optimized on the very thing that I'm actually working on. So what does that look like for you? Are you playing a game of let me just wing it and find out, or are you going to be the one that actually builds some structure inside of your business? The choice is yours, right? And so, a routine for your content, for serving clients, and for your daily flow, that's literally the very thing that's going to sustain your business. I want you to remember that. And that leads me into mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is the one of the things that most entrepreneurs actually miss. And I want you to ask yourself, are you missing it? How do you package your value to where it actually matters as much as the value itself? Right? Do you actually can you actually package your value to where it actually matters as much as the value itself? Because I want you to think about walking around Walmart or your local grocery store. For me, I'm gonna tell you about a story with my wife. My wife, if she goes into Walmart and she sees a box of cereal or whatever type of box, if it's dented, beat up, looking ugly, in her words, she's not gonna get it. She gonna move it to the side, look in the back, find a box that doesn't look as beat up, and go pay for it. People do this with your offers. People, even though the stuff that's on the inside of it looks good, it doesn't matter because if people don't see that the packaging looks good for them to want to buy it, they're not going to buy it. Your offers and your value has to be presented in a way that people actually crave to want it, right? You're not going to go to a car lot and say, I want this car. It's beat up. It look ugly. It got scratches on it. I still want that car. You're not going to do that. When you go to a car lot, you're going to go there because the car looks very clean. It smells like new car smell, all the things. So what does your value actually look like? Are you packaging it in a way where, people say, hey, yeah, I need that right there, buddy. You packaged it so well to where I really want it. Now I know it don't always work like that, but hey, you have to move with intentionality, right? That leads me to mistake number 5. Once your value is actually packaged up the right way, the next step is sales. Now I know that's a lot of people don't have a good feeling when it comes to sales, and I didn't either. And here's why I had to reframe it. Because when we actually think about sales or selling in general, we think about a car salesman who's pushy that nobody wants to deal with them because every time you go to the car lot, they want you to buy something that they want rather than actually give you something that you are desiring for. They are more so focused on getting a deal than actually serving the people. But here's the thing, real selling is serving. Now, what's the difference between the two? Selling is serving. What's the difference between good selling and bad selling? Bad selling is the car salesman. Good selling is almost like a doctor. Because if you think about a doctor, when you go in, you know that you have a pain. They know that you come in with a pain because if you didn't have a pain, you wouldn't be there. And so they are in supposed to be looking out for your best interests. So that's the same thing with you, right? It's about helping people make the best decision for their future. That's what good selling is. If it's right for them, they're actually going to say yes. But if not, you're still going to serve them by giving them clarity. Now, don't be the bad salesman and be like, hey, you should still buy this even though you don't need it. That's the mistake that I literally made in the beginning because I literally wanted a sale just to say I got my first sale rather than actually selling the people what they actually needed. Because you don't go to a restaurant and say, I don't want a waiter. That's not what we do. Because we know that we need a waiter. We know that we need somebody that actually serves us before they actually say, what would you like to eat? Right? Selling is serving. That's the one mindset that I literally had to shift. Now, truly and honestly, after just going through the reps of doing selling the right way, I actually like selling because I'm not trying to give people something that they don't need. I'm only trying to give you something that I know will actually benefit you. And that actually leads me to point number 6 or mistake number 6. Let me tell you, community will save your life. I promise you, it's going to save your life because when I actually tried to do everything by myself, I literally missed everything. I missed blind spots. I missed um, places of refinement that I could have actually fixed before I actually started doing things. Because without community, I burned out. I burned out. I didn't have any more energy. But the moment that I started allowing people to come into my world and actually be with me and walk on that same journey with me, everything shifted. Because here's what the right community actually does for you. The right community sharpens you, challenges you, and actually keeps you grounded when your mind starts playing tricks on you and telling you, oh, you're not good enough. Going back to that question we said in the beginning, am I really meant for this place? That's what your mind is going to tell you because your mind is only focused on survival. And when you start doing things that's not normal to what you're supposed to be doing, guess what? Your mind is going to start playing those tricks on you to get you back in line, even though that's not the way you're trying to go. So, community, I promise you, will save your life. When I say it saved me years, because I had somebody in my rear view say, hey, you might want to pivot here because of this, right? I literally changed my offer because it didn't resonate with my community. They said, your offer is not clear. And when I made that shift, guess what? That's when people started saying, hey, I really need what you have. All because I got some counsel from my community. Now, mistake number 7, the biggest one that I told you about. And here's the one that I actually want to leave you with. I want to leave you with knowing that you are enough. Right now, where you are enough. Because I don't want you to believe that you're not enough going forward because right now you're in a place where everything is supposed to be in the way that it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be further than where you are because guess what? If you were, you would have been there. So right now, not when you have more clients, not when your systems are perfect, not when your brand is you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube or TikTok or none of that. Right now, people are not waiting on the perfect version of you. People are waiting on the version of you that actually shows up. They're wanting your presence, not your perfection. So I need you to show up with everything that you got and let God grow the rest. Focus on the inputs and let him grow the outputs. That's the last mistake that I made was not understanding that I was enough in every season that I was in. When you start understanding that you are enough now, I promise you, your life is going to change. Your business is going to grow, but it all starts here. It starts here. And so now these are just a few things that I would actually do differently if I had to start all over in 2025 or even 2026. But here's the thing. I don't want you to just listen to everything that I said. I need you to take action on it and take the next step. So I've actually got another episode to take you even deeper on this type of journey, and I'll put it right here. So I want you to check out that video linked right there. And if you want to go further, I'll drop a link in the description to where you can actually join the community, the Kingmaker Circle, so that way you can actually grow with us. So you won't have to do business alone or life alone. So I'll see you in the next video and I appreciate you for being here. Peace.